All right, Celtics Nation, it's that time again. The green and white are back in action, and there's a lot to unpack after this weekend of preseason basketball. You can feel the energy starting to build. The team looks fast, confident, and maybe most importantly, hungry. We've seen a couple of games now, and while it's still early, the vibes around this squad are starting to take shape. Let's dive into it, because there's a lot to talk about. First off, that game against the Cavaliers was wild. From the opening tip, Boston came out like a team with something to prove. They dominated early and never looked back. I know, we got to keep things in perspective. Cleveland wasn't rolling with their full crew. No Donovan Mitchell, no Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley, no Jarrett Allen. Basically, most of their regular starters were sitting out. But even with that in mind, it was still refreshing to see the Celtics handle business the way they did. The pace, the movement, the communication, it all looks sharp. And speaking of pace, that's been one of the biggest takeaways so far. Early in the preseason, the offense looked a little sluggish, like they were still figuring out how to sync up with each other. But in the last two games, the tempo has completely changed. The ball is flying around, the spacing looks great, and they're running the floor like a track team. The numbers back it up too. Against Cleveland, Boston poured in over 130 points. 33 in the first quarter, 37 in the second, 32 in the third, and 36 in the fourth. That's consistency, and it's exactly the kind of rhythm you want to see heading into the season. Peyton Pritchard has been a spark plug. You can see his confidence growing with every possession. When he's pushing the tempo and hitting from deep, the Celtics second unit just feels alive. And Anthony Simons, man, he's been fun to watch. Off the bench, lighting it up from three, he finished with 21 points in just 25 minutes. Every shot he takes looks smooth, and he's starting to find his rhythm in this Missoula system. You can tell he's getting more comfortable reading the floor, picking his spots, and playing with confidence. Defensively, it's still a work in progress. There's been some foul trouble, and that's part of the growing pains when you're trying to prove yourself and play with intensity. But it's also a good sign. They're hustling, they're getting after it, and they're trying to set a tone early. That's the kind of energy you want from your young guys fighting for rotation minutes. And speaking of energy, let's talk about Josh Minott. Celtics fans, if you didn't know his name before, you probably do now. This guy has been everywhere, flying around on both ends of the court, making plays, crashing the glass, and just bringing that spark every time he checks in. He's not just out there filling minutes. He's changing the flow of the game. You can see the effort, you can see the hunger, and it's the kind of thing that catches a coach's eye fast. Missoula has made it clear he values energy and effort above everything else, and Minott has been delivering exactly that. Against the Cavs, he dropped 16 points and grabbed 16 boards. That's not a typo. 16 rebounds from a guy fighting for a rotation spot. Add in a steal and some solid defense, and suddenly you've got a real case for this guy earning minutes once the real games start. What stands out isn't just the numbers. It's the way he impacts the game the second he steps on the court. Every loose ball, every hustle play, he's right there. It's that kind of grit that wins games in the regular season when the legs get heavy and shots stop falling. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine. There are a few question marks that are starting to surface, and one of them has to be the big man rotation. We came into this preseason wondering who would step up to fill the void left by the departures of Horford, Porzingis, and the rest of Boston's rebounding core. Naimi Izqueta was supposed to be one of the key guys in that mix. After a strong summer showing, fans were excited, but lately, it feels like he's lost a bit of traction. Minutes have gone down, and he hasn't really asserted himself the way many hoped he would. 7 minutes against Cleveland, a short stretch against Toronto. It's not a great sign. It might not be time to panic yet, but it's something to keep an eye on. Luka Garza and Xavier Tillman have both shown flashes, and Chris Boucher has been stepping into multiple roles, sometimes starting at the 4, sometimes sliding to the 5. He's been solid offensively, hitting shots, bringing energy, and giving the team some flexibility in small ball lineups. But defensively, the rebounding issue is still glaring. Joe Mazzulla has been crystal clear about it too. If you miss a box out, you're coming out of the game. He's been pulling guys right after missed assignments, even veterans like Jaylen Brown. That kind of accountability sets the tone for the season, and honestly, it's what this team needs. Because here's the truth. The Celtics are not going to win this year just by scoring. They can score with anybody. That's obvious. But the rebounding and the defense are what will decide how deep they go when the games start to matter. Right now, they're sitting near the bottom in defensive rebounding rate, and that has to change. You can live with missed shots, you can live with a few turnovers, but giving up second chance points over and over again, that's how you lose winnable games. Still, there's so much to like about this group. The chemistry is growing. Pritchard and Simons seem to complement each other perfectly. Both can handle the ball, both can shoot, and both bring energy off the dribble. Derek White continues to be the glue guy, blocking shots, making the right passes, doing all the little things that don't always show up in the box score. And Jaylen Brown? He looks like he's in mid-season form already. Explosive, confident, attacking with purpose. You can see it in his movement. He's healthy, he's locked in, and he's clearly taking on more of a leadership role this year. Boston might not have everything figured out just yet, but they're building something. The speed, the depth, the shooting, it's all there. It's just about cleaning up those details on defense and making sure the big man rotation settles into place. Because when you have guards who can push the pace, wings who can finish through contact, and shooters who can stretch the floor, that's a dangerous mix. It's preseason, sure, but this version of the Celtics feels different. There's urgency in how they play, but also joy. You can tell they're having fun again. Even when things get sloppy, they're still engaged, still competing, still communicating. And that might be the most important thing of all right now. When you're building a team that wants to go the distance, it starts with energy and trust. Right now, this group has both. The question now is simple. Can they sustain it once the real games start? Can the young guys keep delivering when the pressure ramps up? Can the bigs find their rhythm and help lock down the boards? If they can answer those questions, Boston's going to be a serious problem in the East. Because the foundation is there and the talent is undeniable. The fans can feel it, the players can feel it, and you can tell something special might be brewing again in Boston. All right, let's keep rolling with what's catching the eye in this young Celtics squad. The preseason has been an interesting mix of flashes and questions, but what's undeniable is the way this team is starting to shape up on both ends of the floor. One thing that's clear, Boston is committed to playing fast, aggressive, and unselfishly. The ball movement has been crisp, and the wings are attacking with intent. You've got Pritchard pushing tempo, Simons making the right reads, and Derek White serving as the reliable floor general that keeps everyone coordinated. When this group is clicking, the offense looks seamless. The bench has been a revelation too. Players like Josh Minott are injecting life every time they step onto the court. He's not just scoring. He's influencing the game in ways that show maturity beyond his years. His rebounding, defensive rotations, and ability to crash the boards make him a coach's dream in limited minutes. When he's on, it's like a spark has been lit for the second unit. That energy transfers to everyone else, and suddenly the Celtics' depth isn't just a talking point. It's a tangible weapon. Watching him play, you can see the confidence growing, the way he attacks both ends of the court, and the little moments where he just makes a difference. That kind of contribution is exactly what a young team needs to establish identity and momentum early in the season. Then you've got Chris Boucher, who continues to prove how versatile he can be. Whether he's starting at the 4 or sliding to the 5, he brings scoring, rim protection, and high-level basketball IQ. His mobility and ability to stretch the floor give Boston options, especially as they experiment with small ball lineups. There's a lot of flexibility here, and that's crucial when you're trying to find a consistent rotation. Even with defensive rebounding still a work in progress, having a guy like Boucher makes it easier to manage matchups and adjust to different opponents. His presence allows the team to move pieces around without completely sacrificing spacing or defense. Now, the big man situation remains the most intriguing puzzle. Naimi Izqueta's role has been a little murky, with limited minutes and mixed performances. But that doesn't mean he's out of the picture. It might just signal that Boston is experimenting with a committee approach to the 5. You've got Luka Garza and Xavier Tillman ready to contribute, and it seems like Joe Mazzulla is figuring out how to maximize everyone's strengths while maintaining defensive discipline. That defensive rebounding message has been loud and clear. If you miss an assignment, you pay the price. This is a team that wants accountability, and the coaching staff isn't shying away from enforcing it. That level of intensity sets a tone for the season and tells every player, young or veteran, that effort and execution are non-negotiable. On the offensive side, though, Boston has been an absolute joy to watch. The guards are fluid, athletic, and confident. Pritchard and Simons together provide a dual threat that keeps defenses guessing. White adds stability and poise, making sure the ball doesn't stick and that opportunities are created for everyone. Jaylen Brown has been dominant in bursts, looking explosive and completely engaged. When he's attacking, he looks like the player who can carry a team through stretches and be a difference maker in key moments. Every dunk, every cut, every hustle play just reinforces that this Celtics squad isn't playing around. They're serious about setting a standard. What's exciting is how all these pieces are starting to fit together. Boston has a mix of veteran savvy and young exuberance that creates balance. The offensive versatility is clear. They can push the pace, isolate when needed, and run set plays that take advantage of mismatches. The defense, though still a concern in terms of rebounding, is showing signs of cohesion. Players are communicating, rotations are happening faster, and the focus on effort is evident. This is exactly what you want to see in a team trying to establish a competitive identity early on. The preseason losses, like the one against Toronto, haven't been cause for alarm. If anything, they've been instructive. Blowing leads and facing adversity in these games gives the coaching staff and players valuable feedback without the weight of regular season consequences. It's a chance to tweak rotations, test strategies, and evaluate which players respond under pressure. Even in defeat, there are positives to take away. Players are getting minutes, building chemistry, and learning how to adjust on the fly, something that will pay dividends once the stakes get higher. One of the most interesting storylines has been the growth of the supporting cast. Minot, Boucher, Garza, and even Baylor Shemin have all shown glimpses of what they can contribute. These are not just filler pieces. These are potential rotation players who can change the flow of a game. Mazzulla has a wealth of options, and that flexibility is going to be key when injuries or fatigue come into play during the long season. It's about finding the right combination of energy, spacing, and defensive commitment. When these pieces click together, Boston has a chance to be one of the most dynamic teams in the East. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The NBA world is buzzing tonight with whispers that could shake the Eastern Conference to its core. Sources close to the league suggest that the star big man who has long dominated the paint for the Philadelphia 76ers is reportedly packing his bags and heading north to don the green of the Boston Celtics. While neither team has confirmed the move, insiders say the discussions have reached an advanced stage, sparking feverish speculation among fans and analysts alike. For years, the Sixers have built their identity around this dominant center, a player whose presence in the post and rim protection have been pivotal in playoff pushes. Philadelphia faithful are reportedly bracing for the shock of losing their cornerstone, with social media already erupting in a mix of disbelief, anger, and nostalgic tributes to the player's time in blue. The timing could hardly be more dramatic, with the Celtics aiming to reclaim Eastern Conference supremacy. Acquiring a proven interior force would instantly reshape their title ambitions. Boston, on the other hand, has long cultivated a reputation for blending star power with unselfish team play. Adding a marquee big man to their roster could fill the gap in the paint that has occasionally undermined their playoff runs, while also adding another layer of intrigue to the storied rivalry with Philadelphia. Rumor has it that the Celtics front office has been in quiet negotiations for weeks, and the player himself may have signaled interest in a move, citing the allure of Boston's championship culture and the chance to compete in a fresh environment. If the trade does materialize, the ripple effects would be felt across the league. Analysts are already speculating how Boston would integrate the new centerpiece alongside their current rotation and what adjustments Philadelphia would make to rebound from such a significant loss. The rumor mill is relentless tonight, and one thing is clear. The NBA offseason is about to get far more electrifying, with fans from Boston to Philadelphia holding their breath for confirmation. Until then, all eyes remain on the green and white, ready, it seems, to welcome a game-changing presence into the heart of their lineup. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.